Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at another Mojo Fun figure, and this is kind of an older one that they released a while back, but it is their Deinotherium, and I am really excited to take a look at it. If there's one thing that I love, it is prehistoric mammals. I may not show it by always reviewing dinosaurs and things like that, but I actually am a huge fan of prehistoric mammals. I think they are just so interesting to me, and I love anytime a company goes out on a limb and takes a shot at making a prehistoric mammal. And here we have a prehistoric relative of the elephant, and I think it looks really quite cool at first glance. I am really quite intrigued to take this and get an up close look at it and see how nicely done this Deinotherium is, as I feel like there is just a very large lack of prehistoric mammals in general when it comes to the collecting community, but specifically Deinotherium I feel like should have a lot more notoriety and a lot more representation in the modeling community and the prehistoric collecting community. It's one species that always seems to get overlooked, and I feel like there's a lot of those out there. But regardless, the Deinotherium is right here for us to look at, so let's go ahead and get a closer look. So if we start up here at the head, you can see that the trunk is really nicely sculpted out. There are many creases and folding of the skin here in the trunk area. Even the underside of the trunk beautifully portrays the nostrils. I think that looks very nice. I really like the overall appearance of this. And you can see coming up here into the eye sockets, the detail all around the eye looks really nice. The eyes are painted just a blackish coloration, but they look really good actually. They are not sloppily painted at all, and the detail and sculpt all around the eye looks beautiful in my opinion. As you come over here, you can take a look at the ear. The ear appears to be very nicely sculpted. Some beautiful detail throughout. You can even get a sense of the bone structure of the head here. Kind of see the cheek sticking out a little bit. And then you can come down here into the tusks. I think the tusks are painted pretty nicely, primarily just a whitish color, but you can see a little bit as far as color tones go with a brownish closer to the actual lower part of the tusk. I think that looks really nice. It was a very nice touch on the part of Mojo. And the body is basically a gray, but you can see that they've added in some browns here and there. There's a brown that kind of runs the entire length of the actual trunk, and then if you look over here on the side of the head, you can see some browns mixed in there, a little bit of brown around the eye. Then there's a darker blackish coloration up here on the head, kind of mixed with browns. So they've done a great job portraying the skin tone of the animal and really making it look very realistic as far as the coloration goes. Even the ear has some blackish areas of it, so it's really nicely done as far as the paint goes. As you look here at the top of the head, you can again get a sense of the skull and the shape of the skull. So they've really beautifully portrayed that in the sculpt. You can see some very nice wrinkling of the skin and skin folding going on here in the neck, really portraying the large size of the animal. You can also see the shoulder blade as we get back here into the upper part of the animal, and then as you run down you can really get a sense of just how bulky and large the animal is, and also really take note of the musculature as well. You can see some skin folding and wrinkling right there in the back of the leg. Nicely painted nails here on the feet. The feet look very good as well. Beautiful wrinkling and lots of detailing as far as the skin goes. It kind of looks like it's just that primary Mojo style sculpting that they used to do. They don't really do this anymore. They have a much more updated way of sculpting their dinosaurs and prehistoric animals now, but they used to always continuously have this kind of style of sculpt, but I really think that it looks good on this actually. They've done a very good job on this one. Much better than a lot of their figures. Not to say that their figures are bad, because they really aren't. I think a lot of Mojo figures are really fun, and I'm quite a big fan of Mojo, but this one specifically is really quite nicely done. You can see again some more wrinkling going on right here in the rear of the leg, and then you come out here into the stomach and you can see that it is quite the bulky animal. It's definitely been well fed. The underneath also has some very beautiful looking sculpt. Even the bottom of the feet actually has some very nice looking sculpted areas. Some skin folds here. As you can see, the leg is kind of pulling on the skin a little bit. Then you get back here into the hip area. You can take note of the hip bone being somewhat elaborated from the skin. A little bit of the sense of musculature there in the thigh. and then you come down here into the feet. Again, the nails have a nice gloss. They appear to be painted really beautifully, and the gloss helps to really give them a very realistic look. And then you can come back here into the tail, and the tail comes down. It's got lots of very nice detail and sculpt, and then you get to the bottom, and that little tuft of hair has a blackish coloration. Looks very nice. And again, you can see the color here. There's some browns added, some actually different shades. It's like a lighter brown there and a darker brown there. So they've really done a good job, as I mentioned before, as far as the skin tone of the animal and giving it a very realistic look. This side of the head also looks really nice, just as nice as the opposing side. And then you come back here, you can again pick up on the wrinkling of the skin and the folding of the skin in the neck area. Large shoulder blades here once again, and then the wrinkling of the skin here, really portraying the movement of the animal right there. And you come down to those nicely stretched legs, beautifully sculpted out feet and painted nails. Again, up into the stomach. You can't see the rib cage or anything of the animal, and that is definitely akin to the fact that you can really see how well fed it is. The skin is kind of being stretched right there as the leg is reaching back, so it really portrays the movement of the animal quite nicely in the sculpt. You can again pick up on the hip bone here in the rear area, and then the musculature and really kind of the bone structure as well of the rear leg. You can just get a sense of it as you turn it, and that's very cool to look at as you really take in the beauty of this model. And this foot is kind of stretching back a little bit, looks very nice. It's in a very natural looking position, and the beautifully painted nails once again with that nice gloss look very good. Overall, this is quite the nice looking Deinotherium. So as far as a size goes on the Deinotherium, if we go from the back to the front here of the trunk, you're looking at about 7.5 inches or about 19 centimeters, and for a height a little over 4 inches, almost 4.25, or about 10.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Paporex next to the large Deinotherium. You can see that this is a pretty sizable figure. Definitely not any type of a small figure by no means. It really is very large actually, and it's really got some significant weight. Honestly, it's pretty heavy. It's actually heavier than the Paporex, which is impressive considering it is a little smaller than the Paporex, but judging by the two next to each other, you can see that this is a pretty large figure. So I think this Deinotherium is really, really nice. I am a huge fan, as I said previously, of prehistoric mammals, so anytime someone makes a new one, I am a huge fan. This one is not new actually, it's kind of old, but it's new to me as I just recently received it, and I think that it is really beautiful looking. I love the way they've painted it, honestly. I think that the paint applied looks so natural, so beautiful, and so real, and they've done such a great job of applying so many different tones of colors when it comes to like the grays and browns and different tones of browns, and there's blacks, and it just really looks beautiful, really natural, and I think overall the paint application on this is spot on to what I would like to see on a Deinotherium model. The overall sculpting is really nice in my opinion, but it may not be to everyone's taste because, again, I did say that it is that very trademark old school Mojo style sculpt where the detail is just kind of etched on with lines for the most part, and that's the way they sculpted a lot of their older figures, but I think it really works quite well on the Deinotherium, and it's not the same way throughout the whole body. You can see it's really kind of sculpted out that way on the primary body area, but then when you get up into the face, it's a good bit smoother and really more finely detailed. And I think that all the movement of the animal is really beautifully portrayed in the sculpt. So overall, I think this is a very appealing figure, and definitely, in my opinion, as far as the older Mojo Fun figures go, it's one of their best, if I must say so. I really, really think that this is a beautiful representation of the Deinotherium, a very overlooked species, and underutilized when it comes to prehistoric models, so it's awesome that Mojo Fun went and made such an obscure species for us to enjoy. A very, very cool prehistoric relative of the elephant that just doesn't get its due, so it's great to see Mojo producing this. Again, it is an older figure, so it's not quite as up to date as their newer ones, but honestly, I think even to this day, it still holds its own and really looks quite beautiful, honestly. It is a very, very appealing Deinotherium. So if you would like to order this guy, I will throw a link in the description so you can go ahead, follow the link probably to Amazon where you can purchase one for yourself. I may throw a link to everythingdinosaur.com as I'm pretty sure it's on there as well. Either way, definitely recommended from me. If you do want to buy it, check the description, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.